These chairs are really nice, but they suck at the same time. There we go. Good morning and welcome back to another video of Do We Have Audio or Not? Did I turn the mic on? Looks like I turned the mic on. I did turn the mic on. Start that again. Good morning, welcome back to another video with a guy and his projects. Today we are working on the 2016 Ford Escape 2.0 EcoBoost four-wheel drive system. And as I promised in my last couple of videos with this car, we are going to go through full-blown maintenance mode, catch this thing up on everything it's been missing. If you have not been a part of the channel and you haven't seen why there's a white front and a red back, go check out the playlist of this car. There's only a couple videos in there now because we just bought it, we just fixed it, and now we're going to catch it up on maintenance and all that. So make sure you subscribe, like, comment, all that stuff, because it helps me and you if you're interested in me. So anywho, what we're doing today is the very basic maintenance that everybody should be doing on a regular basis. Whether you do it yourself or take it in, doesn't really matter as long as it's getting done. You need to change your oil, your engine oil filter, your air filter for your engine, your cabin air filter, your tire pressures and rotations, and that's just basic stuff that you need to do, and that's what we're doing today. So if you want to see how that's done, stay tuned. We're going to drop into that right in a moment. The only thing before we drop into that is just a note. Everything I use will only be linked down in my Amazon affiliate links below. If you click on those and purchase something, it helps me out with all kinds of terms and stipulations and all that stuff. But whatever. Click on the links, buy stuff, help me. That's all you really need to know. All right, so that said, we actually got engine oil and engine oil filter at Napa this time because I went into Napa for something completely different. I needed some heater hose for the Jeep. There's a lot of videos on the Jeep, guys. Check those videos out. I needed some heater hose on the Jeep, so I went into Napa and they had a long line because they had a long line. I don't know why they don't have anything in store there. So I walked around the two aisles we have, and they had a pretty nice sale on their engine oil. 5W20 full synthetic was like 20 bucks for a 5-quart jug. So yeah, I bought Napa engine oil for this car in this video. That said, I will link some of my favorite brands down below that I use on a regular basis. Not sponsored, just my favorite oils. That's all there is to it. Same with oil filters. I've never used a Napa oil filter before. I'm not against them, just not, you know, something I typically go to Napa to buy. So link down below, click the links, buy stuff, help me. Moving on. So the oil change on this car is actually very easy. It's easier than sitting here in the 20-degree air with my head not in a beanie. I can tell you that. So you are going to probably want to pick this car up in the front, whether that be ramps, a jack and jack stands, or a 2-post lift such as what I have. I have that, so I'm going to use it, but you could probably do this just fine with some ramps or jack and jack stands. So I can link some of those down below if you're interested as well. That's how I got my start, just like all of anybody else getting their start. I don't normally sit this close to the camera, and I can actually see the screen right now, and as I talk, the thing keeps going. I keep thinking there's something behind me. So yeah, anyway, moving on. Once you get this in the front end in the air, oh, to note, I also always warm my engines before I change oils to operating temp or just under. You can do that by idling, by driving. It's a lot faster to drive. But typically when it's snowy like this, I like to just idle it in the garage so they don't get covered in nastiness. And then I gotta crawl under it while it's dripping crap. A lot of people don't like to warm them up by idling because you get moisture and condensation in the oil. I'm not sending this oil in for analysis, so that doesn't bother me. I just let it idle to temperature. That's just going to allow the oil to loosen itself up, warm itself up so it flows better and you actually get everything out rather than having a thick film everywhere of the old oil left in your engine. Warm it up, get the front end up, and then I started with the oil filter, not because you have to, just because that's what I started with. The oil filter in this 2.0 is actually very easy to get to. It's similar in the 1.6 or 1.5, whatever the white car was. but it's a little bit more difficult to get to. It's horizontal and above the cooler. This one is very easy, just sitting there for easy picking. So I just reached up there, grabbed it, and spun her off. Once you spin this oil filter off, what I like to do, especially on vertically installed filters, is fill the filter up as full as I can with fresh oil. A lot of debate on there about doing that. I'm not here to debate it. I'm here to tell you how I changed my oil. So I filled up the oil filter with the new oil, lubed the ring just a little bit, the seal, the O-ring, whatever, and stuck it back up there and spun it on tight. When I say tight, I mean hand tight, about as tight as I can go with one hand. I use my good hand, not as good hand, and it's never failed me yet, except on the Jeeps, but the Jeeps just leak no matter what the hell I do. So hand tight on the oil filter. Once my oil filter was replaced, I scooched over to the oil drain plug, which is pretty easy to find, and I popped that loose. I don't remember what size it was now. I did this about a week ago, but just pop that loose and let the oil drain. Again, if you had this warmed up, you might warm your hands on it. If you had this hot, you want to keep your hands out of the way, trust me. So mine's just warm, doesn't bother me too much. But yeah, pull your plug. While your oil is draining, if you want to replace the crush washer, go for it. If you got a rubber, reusable, whatever you have on your drain plug, that is up to you. I like to replace my crush washers when I can, and that's just the way I like to do things. We're gonna wait for this exhaustless gas guy to go by. Exhaustless diesel guy, I should say. All right. So once it's done draining, it'll never finish dripping. I mean, if you want to go eat lunch while you wait, you can. It'll still be dripping when you get back. So once you are at a comfortable level with how much is dripping, go ahead and put your drain plug back and torque it to specs. Whatever that torque is, I don't know. Typically between 18 and 23 foot-pounds on a normal vehicle. So somewhere in there. Essentially just get it tight and do like, I don't know, a quarter ugga-dugga. It doesn't need to be cranked. It just needs to be taut, okay? So typically at this point, because I've got the lift, it on the lift, while it's draining the oil, before I put the drain plug back in, I like to go ahead and do my tire rotation and check my air pressures. You might want to do this after you fill the engine with oil, because you don't want to forget to do that step. That would be very, very detrimental to your car's health. But if you are like me and you got it in the air, you're waiting for it to drain, go ahead and check the tire pressures on all 5 tires and do a rotation if you want. We just put these tires on about 1,000 miles ago when we bought the car, so I'm not going to rotate them. They still haven't worn into their current spots, so we'll wait till the next oil change, which will probably be springtime. We'll be putting summer tires on anyway, so probably not rotating these tires. Either way, do your pressure checks and make sure you're at a good pressure. Now if you've been driving this around, that might be less than ideal to check right now. You want to do them first thing in the morning or at some point in the day, typically, to make sure you have even pressures, but that's up to you. So I'm going to drop this down to the ground now and open the hood and grab a funnel. We're going to take the oil cap off, which is kind of hard sometimes, and we're going to fill this sucker back up with oil. So once you've got a funnel in the oil fill for the crankcase, I dumped in 5 quarts of fluid, waited for a few minutes for it all to get down to the oil pan, pulled the dipstick, checked it, it was right at the low mark, so I added a whole entire another quart, and that brought it to the full mark. I then powered up the car and let it run, get that oil moving everywhere, just to make sure there's no leaks, make it warm up, make sure that you got your oil filter and your drain plug tight enough. And I pretty much, just let it warm up. Once it's all warmed up, I shut her down. And then I clean up the garage. I dump my oil in the appropriate things and just straighten up a little bit while I wait for all that oil set back down in the oil pan. Once that is about 10-15 minutes, I pull the dipstick again, just make sure that it's where I want it, the level, and it was right at the full mark with 6 quarts. That doesn't mean you should go dump 6 quarts in yours. Always check it first, because if you didn't get all of it out, if there's something in there, maybe a restriction pulled in something, you didn't change the oil filter, whatever the situation, if you have, you might not need 6 quarts is all I'm saying. All right, so if you're going to change the engine air filter, which we're not because we just put this car together and I did it while we were there, it's just under that cover right there with just 4 long, I think they're 8mm bolts. You'll want a socket and an extension, a small socket like 1/4 inch. 8mm and an extension to get those off. Horrible design. If anybody successfully put a cold air intake, and I mean an actual cold air intake, to get rid of this system, let me know. I'm not interested in a hot air intake. I want a cold air intake. Let me know what you've done to get rid of this cover, because I hate that cover. It's stupid. All right, the cabin air filter. This should be easy. I thought I would save myself and do it on the lift, which turned out to be a pain in the butt. Easier to do it on the ground, guys. Just do it on the ground. Maybe while it's on your ramps. If you put it on ramps, it might be all right. But I was really squished in there with the lift. Not recommended. So to get the cabin air filter, it's only one bolt, but it's a pain in the butt to do. On your front passenger floor compartment, there's going to be a piece of carpet blocking your access. Why it's carpet, not plastic, don't know. Maybe it doesn't break when you kick it. Whatever, who cares? So there's going to be held on by these two little posts. Mine was missing one of the caps. The other cap, you just squeeze the tabs and pull it down, and then you can pull the carpet out of the way. Then there is a T20 Torx bit down here. Yeah, so T20, you're going to spin this off, and it was kind of hard to get to. I used a T-handle. So use your T20 and pull that bolt out. Once you get that bolt out, you're going to pull that cover off. It's got a couple squeeze tabs that don't really need to be squeezed, but if you're having difficult squeeze them, pull that cover off, and then you can grab the filter. It's just super hard to get my fingers in these things. Every car I've done with a cabin air filter like this, it is a pain in the butt to get my fingers in. Pretty much just shove them in there, say, I don't care about my finger skin or my knuckles, and jam your hand in there, grab that filter, and rip it out. But be careful, you'll sneeze. It's a little dusty in there. Your new filter is going to go in. I didn't pay attention when I pulled my old filter out, because that's the way I do pretty much everything. I never pay attention. But your horizontal, your slots, your pleats go vertically, not horizontally. It won't fit vertically very well, but it will go in there, so be careful. Or horizontally. Wow, I have no idea what I just said. So your pleats on mine go vertically, not horizontally. If you try to stick it in horizontally, it will go in with some force, and but that's not how it fits properly. So make sure they're vertical when you push it back in. Pain in the butt to get this in, but if you struggle long enough, it'll go in, I swear. And then you can just slide that cover back in. It clips in on the top or slides into a slot, and bolt it in. Take your carpet, put that back in, put your little retaining clips back on the carpet, and you are good to go, my friends. So very easy routine maintenance that you all should be doing on your cars. Whether you're paying somebody or doing it yourself, doesn't really matter to me, but you should be doing it. Now keep in mind, I'm not a mechanic, I am not an engineer, I am not trained or professional in any way, shape, or form. Just a guy that likes to do my own work, and I enjoy playing with the cars. That's why I buy these broken piece of crap ones, because I enjoy fixing them, working on them, and getting them back to life. So thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned. There's going to be an entire playlist on this. We have a lot of maintenance to go on this thing, and I'm looking forward to taking you with me. But I can't take you with me unless you subscribe. So hit that subscribe, hit the thumbs up to let me know you subscribed, and then comment down below saying, hey guy, I subscribed. So thanks, guys. Again, stay tuned. There is a PayPal link to donate directly to the channel, as well as my Amazon links with the oil filters, the engine air filter, the cabin air filter, the engine oil filter, all that stuff that I use today, or a brand I like that doesn't sponsor me, I just like. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. I enjoy posting these videos. Hope you enjoy watching them. We'll see you later. Okay, let's go. Let's go.